drain you dry. I mean, people won't tell it, but I'm going to tell it real. I sat there and I allowed that man to drain me dry, and I knew doggone well he wasn't worth it. But I stayed. So you know what I'm saying? You got decisions to make, and you got to stay spiritually aware. Otherwise, the flesh will leave. All right. So after y'all got that joint account together, you need your own accounts, his and hers. You need your own accounts. And I say that because it is going to come a time when you want to go out and splurge. And at least you'll be splurging on what you earned. You know, you'll be splurging. Y'all still together. But, you know, he can go do what he wants to do with his part that he done saved up, and you go do what you want to do with your part that you done saved up. That way, the extra things that you want to buy, it won't cause a strain in the household, within the household. You know, we have too many households that are growing apart because of the strain. But if you work together, you see how that sounds, and it's doable. It's doable to have a joint account and then have your own little account, and you don't have to hide it from one another because you already know this is what I'm going to spend on. It helps take that edge off and still allows you to remain partners without the stress. Okay. This next thing, do we have any comments so far? Anybody want to say anything so far? Anybody have a comment? Okay, so we're moving on from infidelity. Didn't talk enough on infidelity. And we're moving on to credit cards. Oh, God. I know y'all got some credit cards out there. Credit cards are like the devil in disguise. For real, they are. Okay, credit card is, this is another vocabulary word, by the way. Credit card is a small plastic card issued by a bank, business, allowing the holder to purchase goods or services on credit. Credit cards charge interest 1 month after a purchase is made, and borrowing limits are preset according to the individual's credit rating. Credit cards have higher interest rates than loans sometimes. Sometimes, just depends on where you get it at. Okay, so credit cards have destroyed lives. Credit cards, sometimes they're easy to get. When you're first starting out, you may get approved for a $150 credit card, and next thing you know, you're just spending. I mean, it's just so easy. Look, y'all, they are temptations. That you just have one in your hand, and you just know that you're saving it for a rainy day, but the rainy day never comes. Instead, you come. Instead, you come and you take that card and you start getting the things that you want to get, you know, just spending it up, not thinking about the interest, not thinking that further on down the road, guess what? This is part of your money management, and that if you don't pay these bills, it's going to be on your credit. So when you get ready to get a house or a car, guess what? You're going to have to pay higher insurance rates because it's on there, and you're going to have to pay higher interest rates whenever you get ready to get a home because you have these credit card debts on your credit report. All right. So to be honest about things, many people are up to debt in their neck when it comes down to credit cards. The average household assets, now listen, the average household assets are around, when it comes down to their bills, is around $15,000. $15,000. Whenever it comes down to paying bills and stuff, it's around $15,000 in all. But, and this is just for regular. I'm not talking about like mega people with millions of dollars and stuff like that. I'm talking about regular people. And the majority of those financial transactions do not go towards the rent or mortgage. People are losing their homes because of credit cards. They are paying off credit cards, and they're paying off credit cards and stuff, and what's ended up happening is they are neglecting their rent or their mortgage, and when you neglect your mortgage, you get those late fees, which add up, and whenever you do not pay your credit card on time, it adds up. It's like $25 to $35 each time you're late, and you just imagine if you're late at least 4 times, that's $100 right quick. That's $100 quick that you're wasting on a credit card. So my thing about a credit card is, let me give you the pros and cons. Okay, the pros is shopping with a credit card. You have purchasing power. You can buy worldwide, locally, overseas, online. You can just about, purchase anything anywhere that you want with a credit card. The next thing about credit card, the pros about it is that you can earn money back, which that's a good thing on your day-to-day purchases. You can earn reward miles, and you have the opportunity to pay later, buy now, pay later, and also you can build your credit up. You can build your credit up with credit cards and start you a emergency fund. Emergency fund, just in case, if you get sick or something happens unexpectedly and you got this little credit card that's plastic to the side, you can use that to help get you by, Okay, and the cons of it is the interest fees are just terribly high. The APR is usually around anywhere from 19% to 23%, and sometimes higher depending on who you're dealing with. Interest fees will eat you up. And another thing, the late fees, like I said, are usually around 25 to 35. They can quickly add up for repeat offenders who don't like to pay on time. So if you don't like to pay on time, don't get no credit card, period. Okay, and the last thing is they destroy credit. If a bruised credit cards can send you, when you're bruised using a credit card, it can actually mess your credit score up. It can send it downward. If you have a high balance, that can send your credit score downward. And if you have people inquiring about your credit score, that can bring your credit score down right there. That goes on your record as well. So you have to just be careful when it comes down to that right there with credit cards. But I will tell you this. If you do have a credit card, and you must have a credit card, the way to avoid getting all those interest fees and late fees, first of all, pay on time. Pay on time above everything. Pay on time. The next thing is, after you pay on time, whatever you buy, if you cannot afford to pay it off by the end of the month, don't buy it. Because once it goes past those 30 days, like I said in the definition, once it goes past those 30 days, that's when the interest starts pounding on. It's best to go ahead and pay it off within those 30 days, and that way you don't get that interest fee added on there. It's a must-have. All right? Do I have any more questions or comments? Questions or comments? Somebody talk to me tonight. We're talking about women and money. Okay, well, we're going to move on to my favorite part then. My favorite part is the homework assignment, and I'm going to, let me see. It is the homework assignment, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down to you because this is a little different this time from what we usually do because it's actually going to be two kind of lengthy, according to what kind of bills you got. It's going to be two different projects. I don't know if y'all know what project management is, but we're going to do a scope. We're going to do a scope of our finances to just see where we're at and what we can do as far as getting debt down. Now, me, myself, I have been through this, and I'm going to be honest with you. You can pay all the people in the world you want to pay, but really the only way to get rid of debt is to either pay pay it, make some arrangements on it and pay it, or either get it knocked off by knowing what to say and who to talk to, or let me see. Ooh, y'all got to excuse me. I got a little hot. You either pay it or get it knocked off by, like, using lawyers and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, whenever I did bankruptcy, now here comes my testimony. Whenever I did bankruptcy, let me tell you, I had 60 months on bankruptcy for 5 years. And if you really think, ladies, when you're on bankruptcy and you're going to have to pay the bill regardless. The only difference that bankruptcy does, they're a mediator in between you and the bill collector. If you know how to talk to your bill collector, you can get that stuff knocked down a pretty good chunk, because all they want is what they got in it. That interest and stuff, it can be waived away. Trust me, I know. The last 4 years, I probably have saved over, no, the last 4 years, not saved, but I got knocked off over $7,000 worth of debt altogether. Over $7,000 worth of debt. And that was within the last 4 years that I have been doing this myself, and that's how I know it works. So the scope is, well, you're going to write out a plan, but wait a minute. First of all, let me tell you what it is. You got to do this first. Before you can do the scope, you got to do the SWOT analysis. And y'all know I talk about the SWOT in our big assignments like this. I always tell you to do this, because if you don't, then you won't have an idea of where you're at financially. So the SWOT analysis, write down your strengths. What are your strengths when it comes down to your spending habits? What strengths do you have? Are you tight with money? Are you loose with money? Write down those strengths. Are you very conservative? Or do you pay extra whenever you're making payments? Do you pay extra? That would be a strength. Do you pay on time? If you pay on time, that's a strength. If you do pay your credit cards off within 30 days, that's a strength. So write down your strengths. The next thing is your weaknesses. What is your weaknesses when it comes down to financial transactions? My weakness was just basically eating out. Eating out and traveling. That was my weakness, because the gas prices were eating my pockets up. Gas prices and then eating out. So write down what your weakness is. When it comes down to spending your money, what are you spending your money on that you know is a weakness? Is it candy bars? Is it cigarettes? Is it gambling? We all got addictions. I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm here to help. So you ain't got to tell me, but I'm just here to help somebody. So what is your weakness? I had a weakness one time, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth about it. This weakness was, it was just horrible. It was horrible. I had a certain store that I would go to every chance I got to, and I would buy all these little pretty, I wouldn't say it was addiction, but it was definitely a weakness. I would buy all kind of different pictures and stuff, but all kind of different. Anyway, the store just had my attention. I would go in the store because I liked the store, and I would just pick up stuff that I didn't even need and bring it here. And you know what? Half the stuff I brought, I would just sit it down or either put it in the room. And what ended up happening by me doing all that, whenever my finances started taking a toll, most of the stuff that I had brought that I didn't need was the stuff that I had to sell in order to pay the bill. So you see what I'm saying? What is your weakness? It don't have to be nothing bad, but it can be a weakness. If you know that you have an addiction to going out buying whatnots, or some people have the addiction to buying cows for the kitchen. Whatever your addiction is, if you have addiction for buying guns, go-karts, four-wheelers, cars, whatever your weakness is, write it down. Now, this time you're going to have two O's. 2 O's, opportunities.